Hi, it's Sylvester, and I'm going to be answering some random questions again today. I'm answering these questions from a website called randomwordgenerator.com/question.php. The first question we have is, what were you most afraid of when you were younger? Do you still have that fear? I was scared of a lot of stuff when I was younger. I was a very fearful child. I was scared of the wind because I watched the movie Twister, and it scared the absolute living crap out of me, and I was terrified of tornadoes. And we lived in the country, so it was very windy because it was a lot of flat farmland. There were not a lot of buildings to break up the wind, and it would get really windy out there. And luckily, I've never lived through a tornado, but it's not something that I fear as much as I used to. But I certainly do still fear tornadoes. I would never want to live through one, but I used to be terrified of tornadoes. I was scared of things that had batteries. If it was a toy or a board game or something that required batteries and it would talk on its own and move on its own, that scared the crap out of me because I saw the movie Small Soldiers, which was a terrifying children's movie. I don't know who thought that was a good idea to show that to children, but Small Soldiers absolutely terrified me. And so I would take the batteries out of every toy, anything that talked, anything that moved, anything that did anything on its own, I would have to take the batteries out of because, yeah, it's terrified me. I was also scared of moldy pennies. I remember one time there was a moldy penny that ended up on my dresser, and I didn't use the top of my dresser for like 3 years. I wouldn't put anything on top of that dresser because there was one time a moldy penny on that dresser, and I was just terrified of mold. Yeah, the battery thing, the fear of batteries was not just because of Small Soldiers. I was also scared of battery acid because one time there was a battery that had started leaking, and Mom told me that it was toxic and told me not to touch it. It scared me, and I thought, like, I didn't want to go near batteries because I thought they'd start leaking acid all over me and burn me. I was scared of anything that I thought might be poisonous, and I used to eat everything when I was a kid. Like, basically anything that I could get my hands on, I'd put it in my mouth. Sand, crayons, candles, uh, Play-Doh. I'd suck on the seatbelt strap. I would suck on the seatbelt strap because it tasted sweet to me. I would just like suck on and eat anything that I could get my hands on when I was a kid. So my mom started telling me that things were poisonous, even if they weren't necessarily poisonous, just because they weren't good to ingest. So I was scared of a lot of things because I thought they were poisonous, like Vaseline, for example. I thought petroleum jelly was poisonous, so I was scared of that for a long time. I was scared of a lot of things. I was a very fearful child. I've had a lot of anxiety my entire life. Next question. How much damage could your best friend do to you if you ever had a falling out? I don't currently have a best friend, if I'm being honest. My best friend is my mom, and we've had a falling out in the past, and it was very painful, and I don't wish to go through that again. It would be extremely painful if I lost my mom again. So, and I say lost my mom as if I wasn't the person who cut her out of my life. uh, I guess, but you know what I mean. It would be very painful if my mom wasn't in my life. So, yeah, I've had falling outs with friends, and at times it's been. I've had some pretty painful falling outs. I've had some pretty painful ends to relationships. Not romantic relationships. I've never been in a romantic relationship, but friendships. I've had very painful, several painful endings to friendships. Next question. What do people watch? Oh, sorry. What do you people watch? Do you people watch? If so, where do you like to do this most? I don't people watch. I don't. I try not to be nosy. I try not to pay attention too much to random strangers because when I'm out and about, I don't like being watched. I don't like thinking that people are watching me. So I try to grant that respect to other people as well. But at times I do like to people watch if I have nothing else going on, like if I'm waiting in line for something or if I'm at the doctor's office in the waiting room, then I'll look around and observe the people around me and try to make assumptions about the people based on how they're dressed and how they carry themselves and whatnot. Next question. What's an example of when you changed your mind? Well, I changed my mind about what my gender is. For a while I thought I was a girl, and I had my mind made up about that, and now I'm pretty certain I'm a man. So I think that's an example of when I changed my mind. Next question. What types of things do you doodle? I used to draw quite a bit, and I got fairly good at it, but I don't really draw that much anymore. What do I doodle? I like to doodle dogs and cats, just like very cartoony dogs and cats, mostly dogs. I don't know why I like cats more than I like dogs, but I draw dogs more than I draw cats. I'm not entirely sure why that is. There's like one type of dog that I draw all the time. It's like my go-to doodle, so I'll go with that. Dogs. I like to doodle dogs. Next thing. Have you ever been punished for something you didn't do? Yes. My mind immediately goes to this one time when I was a kid, and my sister and I used to fight a lot, and I would often become violent. Like, I pushed her off the trampoline a number of times. I would rip her hair out of her head. I'd just like grab her hair and just tear chunks of hair out of her head. Like, I was a very violent, poorly adjusted child. I definitely needed therapy from a very young age, but didn't get it. And not for lack of trying. My mom did try to take me to a psychiatrist, but my family doctor told me to come back in 6 months and I'd be better. So shout out to my family doctor from when I was a kid for not realizing how many problems I had with my brain and how much help I needed. Anyway, the one time my sister and I were fighting in the backyard, and we had these old hamster cages out in the backyard because I guess we had gotten rid of our hamsters, or a lot of our hamsters had died, so we didn't need these cages, and so they were just sitting in the backyard, and we had an indoor-outdoor cat. And so my sister got mad at me, and she's like, I'm going to tell Mom that you put the cat in one of the hamster cages. And so she went and told Mom that I put the cat in a hamster cage, and Mom came out and yelled at me, and I was like, no, I didn't do it. And of course Mom didn't believe me because I was a bad child who would do bad things like that. So she believed my sister because my sister was a perfect little angel who never did anything wrong. I was the bad child. My sister was the good child. So, I just remember that so very clearly, because the feeling of being blamed for something you didn't do is one of the worst feelings in the world. And I just felt so helpless and angry and like, I just so badly wanted to prove that I didn't do it, but I had no way to prove that I didn't do it. So anyway, next question. Do you think you were ever part of the popular crowd? No, I don't think I was ever popular. Maybe when I worked at McDonald's, I was considered. I don't think so. I thought maybe there's a chance when I worked at McDonald's I might have been one of the popular people at McDonald's, but come to think of it, I wasn't that popular. So no, certainly not. I'm definitely glamorizing my memories of Tim Hortons. I was certainly not popular. Anyways, no. The answer to the question is no. Next question. Do you have a bucket list? No, I don't have a bucket list. I used to have one, but I don't know. There's nothing I really want to do that badly before I die. I feel like, not that I've done everything, it's just, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person who needs to do a whole lot of stuff before I die to feel fulfilled. I already feel like I've lived a pretty full life, frankly. And a lot of things I know are just never going to happen. Like, I'd like to travel the world. I'd like to see Europe, or see the Eiffel Tower, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I don't think it's very productive to want for things that are more than likely never going to happen. And so, I'm in poverty. I'm in extreme poverty. The chances of me having the money to be able to go to Paris, very, very slim. I just don't see it happening. So No, I don't have a bucket list. I'm going to answer, I think, two more questions. Next question is, what destination is at the top of your list to visit? Well, there is my answer, France. I really want to see France. I'd like to go back to New York as well. Um, I went to New York on a field trip in grade 10, I believe, and it was fantastic. I love New York. So, but mostly I'd like to see Paris. And last question, what's the best comeback you've ever heard? Um, your face. Do you guys remember back in, I guess it was the 2010s, maybe, where everybody would say your mom or your face? If it was like, you're ugly, your face is ugly, you're stupid, your face is stupid. Like, I used to say your mom, that used to be the thing, but then one of my friends' moms died, and at one point she said something, and I was like, your mom is, oh, shit. So, don't say your mom, because you don't know if somebody's mom is dead. But you can say your face. There's nothing wrong with saying your face as a comeback. It's a great comeback. Anyway, that's all. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.